That one glorious word represents more than just the geography between the Sabine and the Rio Grande. It represents a unique idea and way of life. A life of rugged individualism, proud self-reliance, gritty toughness, and fierce independence. That is what made Texas, and that is what will save her again. Howdy, folks. Sam Houston here. I want to thank you for tuning into the Feed Bandit podcast. Feed Bandit is the Texas first outdoors brand built by rabid Texans, for rabid Texans, and all those who aim to be one someday. We unapologetically promote the ideals that shape our Texas pride and Texas first patriotism through our love of hunting, the outdoors, and the gear and apparel we create. Texas, above all else, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Check us out at feedbandit.com. And to repeat that great rallying cry from a former colleague of mine, liberty or death. Now, enough of my talking. Here are a couple of bandits that love Texas as much as I do. Enjoy.
All right, howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast. Jimmy back with you, along with the old corn bandit, Ricardo. How's it going?
I'm fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic for being the off season, of course. You know,
For being off season, being a lazy Sunday as we're recording this.
Absolutely.
As I was telling you, I'm recovering from being exorcised of the demons a couple days ago. It's the old winter food poisoning. I said I texted someone they were giving me shit for being sick, and that party I said that we went to yesterday.
Yeah,
you better not be a you know what and not come to the party. And I was like, well, damn Jeb, I'm pretty sure he fed me some week-old shellfish that had been cooking on the pavement in August in Texas. That's what happened to me. Because it could have been anything else.
Oh God, dude, it is so awful. It's so awful, but yet it's so funny. When your cheeks fill with vomit and you're like, oh my God, and it's just
and your other cheeks fill with something else.
Well, that's yeah, absolutely miserable.
Miserable.
God, it's miserable.
Wearing the mask too. So it was like in the middle of it. It was about like at 12:30 at night, and I feel it it wakes me up.
Yeah.
And my first reaction is to move, but I'm like, oh God, I'm going to pull everything off the thing. So I got to rip the mask off to get to the bathroom.
Well, and it's funny because if you leave that thing on, it sounds like you're in a dentist office. But Laura is definitely not sleeping.
Yeah.
God, I think my worst. I mean, talk about living hell. When I had the absolute worst GI destruction of my life was when I was in Chicago at that horrible, X-ray conference that we would have to go to. And I remember I felt it coming on the night before. I'm like, I don't.
Should I get like the chills a little bit or something?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah. I woke up next morning. I'm like, oop. And the what made it so rough, besides the fact that I was tinkling out my bottom every 20 minutes, was that you're in a hotel room that was built, in like the 1920s, so you're literally in a box, and all I have is coat and tie. I mean, I can't do anything. It's in Chicago in November. I mean, and of course, this is really before I had a BlackBerry. So it was really before the internet,
Oh
God, it was miserable. So I was watching, Chicago public television. So I watched Little House on the Prairie, and oh God,
that's enough to make you feel even more sick. Having to watch stuff like that.
It was awful.
Oh God.
And I'm like calling room service. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need some more. I'm gonna need some more toilet paper. Oh yeah, or exactly, yeah. Well, thankfully, I had two kings in the room, so if I fouled one, I'd just move it over.
God.
It's so miserable.
It's making me think too. I was kind of laughing too because I was thinking back to that video you forwarded of Rich in the blind with his stomach. That's what my stomach was like. God Almighty, it's just rah, 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 screaming.
Oh God. Oh yeah, but the one that you have, you can't hold.
Oh no. That's if that were to happen in a blind. No.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine? And with you've experienced with waiters. I mean, but what about with your your overall and your onesie and all that? Trying to get all that off.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't even make it. And that's the thing is that'd be the new rule. It's like, listen, if you are gonna do your britches, please step out of the tank blinds. And those are really nice, and we don't want to foul those up. So. Oh my God!
We did make signs and put those up in the tank blinds.
We should. we really should. It's like a couple of little housekeeping tips here. If you're going to crack them, please. It's actually really fun. We really should have that. We really should. Yeah, it's funny. I'm glad that I think we've gotten more mature because we're sitting here as jovial as we are, and it's February 16th, whereas back in the old days, February was kind of a dark month for us. We were pretty hungover from a less than desirable Texas Tech football season sometimes. When hunting season was over, and that was it, man. Like we had
no college football, like nothing.
Yeah, no college football. We had nothing else really cooking. So it is amazing how much children and all that can really change your life. I mean, at least for us, we jumped right into softball, volleyball, and haven't looked back since. So I don't know, man. Maybe it is a good thing we've gotten older.
Yeah. Jeb's soccer starts next week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Got that coming back again.
Oh yeah.
But that's c'est la vie, as they say in France.
Yeah, but we don't speak it.
Don't speak French.
Yeah, don't speak French.
But speaking of French,
yeah.
Shall I jump into our Texas history segment real quick?
Yes.
All right. Well, and speaking of French, this is actually about an Englishman, but what's the difference?
Oh yeah, no. They're all the same.
Have you ever heard of the name Joseph Heneage Finch?
No.
Neither have I, but evidently the Texas State Historical Association deemed him worthy enough to let us know about this guy.
Oh, all right.
Like a, not a factoid, but a little fact about Texas.
Okay.
So he lived 1849 to 1885. So he was an English nobleman and sportsman, born in Middlesex, England. The Heneage and Jane.
Yes, word.
Oh no, we got to beep that out. Heneage, what a great first name. Heneage and Jane Whitewick Finch. Heneage was the 6th Earl of Aylesford. Joseph, the 7th Earl, of course, was a minor but legendary figure on the West Texas frontier. He married Edith Williams, the daughter of a member of Parliament, in 1871. They had 2 daughters, and in late 1874, Finch lavishly entertained the Prince of Wales, the future Edward VII, at his estate, Packington Hall, outside London. Finch quickly became a member of the prince's inner circle of raucous intimates, infamous for their materialistic, extravagant lives. The prince invited Finch to accompany him on a 17-week goodwill tour of India in 1875-76.
Well, gee, what a trip.
Though he arranged the sporting events and served as his sponsor's personal hunting guide, Finch abruptly returned home in early 1876 to confront his unfaithful wife and her lover. Okay. The divorce suit that followed involved the highest members of English society and resulted in Finch's being exiled, in effect, by Queen Victoria herself.
Oh.
So Texas being Texas,
sure.
Who do we welcome here, right?
Oh, yeah.
No longer welcome in polite company in England, he dropped out of sight. But in late summer 1883, he arrived at the West Texas cattle town of Big Spring. Oh. Can you imagine? You're in England at the height of English power, and you're entertaining the king, and all of a sudden you wake up and you're in Big Spring in 1883.
Yeah. Oh,
it's like Talk about the difference in like.
You would be like Xerxes there. You know?
But I mean, he had money, so it says there he bought a 2,500-acre ranch north of town and a $40,000 herd of cattle on range delivery, or otherwise known as sight unseen.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rustic boomtown had few conveniences in quick succession, Finch bought a hotel and a bar. The former, at least, had an inflated price. He also built a meat market. Though initially unable to gain the acceptance of the local cowboy cattleman fraternity, the Earl won them over in time by his generosity with his liquor, by his being introduced formally at Roundup by a prominent cattleman, and by his pleasant personality. He spent his waking hours partying, drinking, and hunting to the neglect of his ranch and stock. Although mysterious and remote, he became a valued and respected member of the community, for the frontiersman did not pry into one's personal life. On January 13th, 1885, after hosting a 2-week party that was spoken of in awe for years, he unexpectedly died. His hard drinking had apparently caught up with him. Finch's significance, however, does not lie in his self-destructive antics, but rather in his being a classic example of a little publicized but stock frontier character who, along with the buffalo hunter, Indian fighter, and cowboy, helped settle the frontier west, the remittance man. Few in number, perhaps never more than a few hundred, remittance men were typically wealthy Europeans, mostly Englishmen, who for various reasons were exiled to reform or to perish to the remote regions of the world, where they regularly received money or remittances from home. On the United States frontier, where men were expected to be rugged individualists, these outcasts were generally not admired. Finch was an exception.
That's awesome.
I thought that was pretty interesting. It might be interesting to find a book about that guy if there ever was one written, but they didn't. They usually mention if there is. But
right.
That might make an interesting movie.
Well, I just about to say. Well, it is crazy how one person, like you say, exiled or whatever, and says screw you, and he goes over and he makes his own mark.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool. Very cool. Good for him.
Sound like a fascinating character.
Oh, it really does. Yeah,
he fit right in at Rancho Bandito.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, absolutely. Especially with his limey accent.
Yeah, he threw a great P at the D.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, he would. Yeah. Well, that is a very, very interesting Texas history fact. I always enjoy that segment because it's endless. There's so much crap to talk about. It's not even funny.
Well, and on that, there's no shortage of like random characters in Texas history like that.
Oh, yeah.
Why Texas is the way it is, sure. Why it's interesting.
For sure. Absolutely. Cool. All right. Well, I tell you, we'll use that opportunity to switch gears. It's been a while. Well, no, it hadn't been a while because I think we did it last time. But as you all know, we are big avid fans of the Lone Star Outdoor News, the newspaper here that comes to us. Is it monthly, bi-monthly?
I think it's bi-monthly because it goes from the 10th to the 24th. Right. So I figured, I guess every 2 weeks.
Okay. It is absolutely fantastic. So I don't know how to read. Obviously, lots of good pictures, which is great. But it's literally one of these, and we're not sponsored by them, by the way. We absolutely love it. It's one of these things you can legitimately read from cover to cover, and unlike some other publications out there, it really covers a broad spectrum of different and hunting, fishing topics. And all over the place. Like I'm sitting there looking at something right now talking about winter dove hunting. This is a little bit older issue. And then the article above it is talking about public hunts for nilgai. And then the article we're talking about is the addition of a new Boone and Crockett category, the B and C, which is really, really kind of neat. So again, they cover kind of a myriad of different things. But one of my opinion, one of the coolest critters, that roams Texas, Mexico, really kind of the desert Southwest, is of course the javelina. And it's really interesting. Here's a little trivia for you, Jimmy. The javelina is more closely related to what animal? Do you know?
Yes, I heard this before, and it's not the pig. I heard people say it's something else. I'm trying to remember. Just give me a hint.
Well,
or would I give it away?
It's very, very near and dear to our hearts. Actually, let me make sure I'm right on this. I'm 99% sure.
Oh yeah, is that a factoid?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Seriously.
Yeah, I remember hearing that, but I don't remember. Kind of like a trivia question, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never actually
What does
heard.
it say?
Okay, well, they're actually more close related. This is a deer, but I almost thought it was a raccoon.
Really?
Yeah, that's kind of what I understood. Well, the bottom line is they're definitely not pigs. They are not swine. You know, they've been kind of the corn rodents, things of that nature. But it's funny, the javelina, as far as Texas is concerned, that West Texas, down the Trans-Pecos are all over the place there, and then of course in South Texas. Now there is also a couple of isolated herds. One's in the Panhandle, which is really, really kind of interesting because they are that is kind of an isolated little herd up there, and I don't know how much they've expanded over the years, but there are also some very, very small little pockets, believe it or not. And I actually talked to a guy who worked on the ranch and actually witnessed it with his own eyes. Now, there's a small little pocket of them in Haskell, I believe. So it's a big county west of Throckmorton. So they've actually seen a few in there, which of course is really, 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 really kind of cool. Also seen a mule deer in Shackelford County.
Oh, really?
Which is very interesting. So that the big ranch that I hunted and shot that old 9.5-year-old deer, and we're getting off topic here, but I actually saw the game camera pictures of a mule deer. No doubt beyond my mind that it is a mule deer buck.
Well, maybe they'll finally come the extra 2 miles to my family's place.
Well, it's funny you say that. I mean, if they're there,
because they're at Matt's, and he was only 2 miles up the road.
They're all over your place.
Yeah.
Since your habitat there is more conducive to whitetail, but they're in that wheat field across that fence. There's no doubt about it. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, no. So the javelina is definitely a cool critter. It's funny. Those who hunt in South Texas will probably disagree with me because they can foil hunts. They're one of the first things in to eat the corn, all that kind of stuff, and it's funny. They're sometimes kind of treated like hogs. Of course, javelinas though have got a season on them. And then, of course, now it looks as though the guys at the let's see here, the BNC, which stands for Boone and Crockett game records, are going to be adding them. So let's see. The Safari Club International already has a record book category for javelina, as does the Texas Big Game Awards. But finally, it looks like BNC is going to add it as well. So let's see. It says, while the club still needs to consider measuring methods and establish the minimum scores for inclusion, very important word, inclusion, into the record book, most expect that javelina records will follow record keeping for other non-antlered and non-horn game like mountain lions, bears, which is basically skull measurements, things of that nature.
So that's what they would measure, is the javelina skull, like circumference or something?
Yeah. And they'll probably end up doing, although it's not mentioned here, they might be looking at tusks as well.
Yes.
I think tusks are one of the indicators of them, but I can't be certain about that. So I tell you, the other record they could do is how bad they stink. What's the gag effect? Jeez, right. I mean, I've
never seen one in person. So
they're really cool. They're really cool little critters. Really, really neat. But man, they do stink. They really, really do. Dad shot one down there when we were at Big Bend, or not on Big Bend, but at that ranch there we were mule deer hunting. He became a problem javelina. He was getting too close to some of the ranch guests. So Dad, the guy was like, "You want to shoot this thing?" Dad's like, "Yeah, why not?" 17 caliber right between the eyes, took care of him.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I think that's really cool. Now, of course, all right. Well, are there a lot of trophy hunters out there that are going to start going after javelina? I don't know. That probably not. I mean, javelina country is, of course, big deer country, and so I think people are going to be more focused on that. So I putting them in the big Boone and Crockett record keeping book. I don't think is going to make them more desirable to be targeted or not. Typically the javelinas are kind of bonus animals, that South Texas folks give away when they're hunting deer. Yeah, you go pay $10,000 for a 160 class deer. Oh, we'll throw in a javelina for free.
Oh, thanks.
or as many hogs as you can shoot.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
it says the season. Javelina season is divided between the north and south zone.
Yeah.
And the south zone is effectively year round. So it's September 1st to August 31st. But it's
right.
The north zone is only October to February 23rd.
Right. And that north zone is limited to just a few little counties. From my understanding. So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. That's kind of an interesting. When I was a kid, I used to read when the Texas Parks and Wildlife hunting manual would come out. I would always thumb through. I mean, every year, thumb through it. I mean, the entire thing, and look at every single county. And I would look at, how many whitetail can you shoot here? And I would always go kind of the more obscure counties that, and I look on a paper map. And so, wow, you can shoot mule deer here, and all that kind of stuff. I wish, of course, I obviously don't have them, but it would have been really interesting to track, where the javelina seasons were up in the northern areas. Because again, we know they're in the Trans-Pecos, but in the Panhandle, and then likewise look at where the mule deer seasons were in the Panhandle and see how that progression has gone to the east.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I've always been kind of interested in, but fascinated by that kind of stuff. I don't know why, but
I wonder how they habitate with pigs.
They cohabitate very well. Yeah. They're the javelina and the hogs are the same way too. But the javelina, I believe, are pretty close little family group. They don't really. I don't think they really stray too much, but I mean, they kind of eat the same stuff,
So basically everything.
Yeah, pretty much everything. Yeah,
including themselves.
They, I don't know if they have cannibalistic tendencies, but you never know. You never know. So,
yeah. All right. Well,
yeah.
I think I'd like to get one of those on my resume at some point.
Absolutely. Well. I keep applying every single July. I spend my $85 applying for the Texas public game hunts. I've actually got some pretty good preference points now. Probably not compared to most, but some of these categories I'm approaching 10 points, which puts me up in the higher areas. And again, I'm digressing, but so if you score at Big Bend, you can go out there and shoot a javelina. Or you can shoot a mule deer or something like that. I watched some guy filmed one the other day. Not the other day. I think it actually was. It took place in December of 2023 or 24, and he had won a hunt at Gardner State Park, so not too far from you.
Yep.
Place is overrun with exotics, and you would have been frothing at the mouth. So it's literally a state park. They shut it down for a week and a half, and you draw a blind. And they basically say, okay, and they go out there and they put a corn feeder out there for you, and a pop-up blind. They basically say, okay, you can shoot from here to here, and basically anything you see, exotic can be shot. This guy had a Aoudad Ram show up. He blasted that thing. Of course, exotics being exotics, he put the bullet a little bit further back like you would for a whitetail, so that this son of a gun, you can't see it until he walks down, but you've got the feeder right here. It's a thick canopy of oaks and cedars, and it immediately falls off. The Llano River.
Yeah.
Llano, or the Pernelli or whatever the hell it is. Anyway, so thankfully this thing died like 20 feet down, so he was able to get it back up. But once he did, he just kind of put the shinnery, got back on the blind, axis doe. Next morning,
so he could shoot as many as he wants.
Oh yeah, the guy was on fire. He was just stacking up bodies everywhere. So I think he ended up with one Aoudad Ram, and then I think 5 or 6 axis does.
Damn.
I mean,
and dude, you can only do that if you win that drawing or whatever.
Okay. It's anyways. I've been putting in for years for it. I mean, God, how fun would that be?
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah. Anyway,
no axis buck though, huh?
He killed a spike. He killed a little spike. I'm sorry. One of them was a spike, young one too. But of course, they're like blast them all. But the does that he did kill were huge. I mean, they look like fucking elk.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely ginormous. So, yeah, it's cool. Well, and speaking of, it's the off season. So, I mean, that's the beauty about our beloved state is that with so many exotics running around, if you've got them or you're near them, where you have the means to go out and hunt them, that man, they're here and they're out there for the taking. I think the more popular ones, the black buck and the axis and all that kind of stuff. But it's the off season, so now is the time to keep all those feeders full, get your trapping done, and thin those coons out and all that, which we have not yet done on the Rancho Bandito, but that is coming soon because they're enormous, absolutely huge,
very healthy.
Oh my God, bull! Yeah, talk about BNC. It should add a trash panda category. Which, by the way, when I first heard trash panda, I could not breathe. I was laughing so hard. I mean, stars, just like wow.
Brilliant. Speaking of trash panda, I can't wait to show you. I'm trying to refine it. I don't want to give it away on here, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. I love it. Okay, yeah, I can't wait to see it. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. So, yeah, and the other thing a lot of people do. In fact, I actually talked about on my last podcast I did by myself was out there hunting coyotes and stuff. Now is a very, 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 very big time because I think they start having pups here pretty soon. So, go out there if you can. Go hunt some coyotes. Please, God. I mean, you will be doing a rancher. That's a double good right there. You're doing something great for the ranchers, and you're doing something great for the wildlife too. Now, of course, you're never going to be able to get rid of all the coyotes. That's ignorant to think you can. And you got to have some around. That's just nature. It's the balance of the force per se. But and get out there, do some calling. That's the fun thing about the off season is that don't leave your hunting lease and come back for spring turkey. Get back out there, enjoy it. God, I mean it's a great time to get out there.
Yeah, try to get a bobcat if you can.
Oh yeah,
anything like that.
Yep. Yeah, the guy who works for us, he did he was actually going to participate. It's kind of funny. He's a big predator hunter, which is awesome because God knows we need it. And he was going to enter into one of those big contests. I mean, like literally where the jackpot is like $200,000. I mean, it's serious. And so they were, of course, he has free reign all over Rancho Bandito, and so they were practicing, which I'm like, how the they were practicing. on Rancho Bandito, and then they were going to give it a couple of days and go back out and hit it, and they only managed like 3 or 4 coyotes, which I'm like, geez, that's fantastic, you know. But it ended up, the weather conditions ended up just being terrible again, second year in a row, and they didn't end up participating in the contest. But
were any of those on the HQ?
Yes, yeah, I think one was on the HQ. Which was kind of interesting because I started thinking about, you know, okay, some of the areas he was calling in was kind of along that, you know, the perimeter fence, which of course we've got snares under, and it kind of got me thinking to myself, okay, well, you know, if he's sitting there calling in this particular direction, you know, and okay, you know, he may not get anything coming directly into him, but you know, what are the chances that a coyote on the perimeter of the HQ,
oh yeah,
you know, heard
come up and
trying to make his way and then gets stuck in the snare. I never even really thought about that possibility until the other day. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, no, the off season is a great time to get things done. You know, we harp on this every year, you know, but I think now is one of the best times you can to move your blind and your feeder right now. Okay. You know, especially the fact that you just got done with deer season. So if you need to make a change, do it now. Okay. It's going to let them be out there for a while so everybody gets used to it. Well, you know, close to a year. But more importantly, it's not as hot. Get it done, man. Get it done.
Instead of waiting until June.
Until waiting till September when you go fill up your corn feeder. That's when a lot of people do. I mean, to each their own. But yeah, man, there's so much to do in the off season. It's not even funny, you know, especially get all that stuff knocked out so when turkey season comes you can go and do your turkey hunting, you know, and chill during the day. You know, that's, man, I'm looking forward to turkey season this year. I mean, obviously
there are a lot of them there.
Yeah, man, our cup overfloweth. Yeah, no, we have billions of turkeys, so blessed to have so many of them. But did you even hunt last year, turkeys?
No.
Wow.
Nope. I did not have a free weekend.
Wow. Well, we're gonna try a little harder this year, maybe? Are we gonna?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even if it, I mean, I am 100% at least gonna go to my family's place like in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
Like, if I can't go on the weekend somewhere.
Yeah. Good.
You know.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's great.
No question.
Yeah, I mean, the girls, it's funny. The girls are like, "Oh, are we going to shoot a turkey this year?" I'm like, "Hey, bro, you guys are the athletes, you know. You really softball, volleyball, darts, swimming, you know, spelunking." Yeah, I actually played darts last night. I am really bad. I mean, terrible, absolutely terrible.
Was this at a bar, or you have a board in your house?
No, it was at a bar. We got invited out to a birthday. So it was so funny because we're at this bar, and it's, you know, and it's the people that we got invited to, or got the invite from. Their oldest kid is Katie's age. Okay, so she's the oldest kid's a 4th grader, and then they've got like a 2nd grader and a 1st grader, and so you know, and they're not much younger than us. In fact, we might be the same age, but some of the other parents that were there were younger. You know, so like we look like the old crowd. We're like, what? I can't hear you. Wait, $7 for vodka?
Good God.
Oh God. You know, it's funny how having an 8th grader will make you feel like you're ancient, you know.
Well, and almost being 45 probably helps.
Yeah. Yeah, about that. That little
halfway to 90 helps.
That little chestnut. Yeah. Yeah, I made a comment about that. I was like, yeah, I probably only got, and like both the girls were like, what? I'm like, I know. I mean, you know, just statistically.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. All right, you'll be fine without me. There's a lot of shit to do without me. Yeah.
Well, when we go down, hopefully soon, to do our photo shoot.
Yes.
We'll have to do some trapping. And so,
yeah. No doubt.
Try to get some coyotes or something.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. No, I'd love to, and we need to we offline. Let's think about that stuff.
Speaking of, I'm gonna track your thing right now while we're talking.
Oh yeah,
because you should be getting your samples.
Yep. I can't wait, dude.
Let's see here. What does it say? What we're talking about, folks, and I mentioned this on some of my one-off deals, is our shirts.
Yep.
They're out there. They're available now. They're badass. Pardon my French for any kids listening.
Yeah.
But they're I think they're really cool, unique. Yeah. Say a lot about the things we like to talk about here. Hunting, Texas, Texas pride, but also hunting and all that stuff. And we have a lot more ideas, so we'll keep them coming.
And the other thing is, it's just kind of, some of them are really funny.
Yeah.
I mean, some are like, what the? I mean, and that's the whole point.
I think I call them conversation starters.
Right. Is that shirt got what? Yeah, no, and that's the funny thing. We always go against the grain. And that's what's funny about it.
Yes. Hopefully when someone sees it, they'll know at some point that's a Feed Bandit shirt.
Yeah,
so it's from those
that would be nice.
Those two mentally challenged podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
It says your package is in LA right now, so I would bet it.
Louisiana?
Yeah. I bet it's tomorrow or Tuesday would be my guess.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I just hope it doesn't look like a sausage casing on me, but that's okay.
Well, that's why I got the 10X too, to make sure.
Right. That's good. Very good. Yeah, when we were ordering coaches shirts this past year, the head coach was calling out. He's like, "Okay, we got a large, a medium," and he looks like, "Okay, we got the 6X." I'm like, "What the fuck, 6X?" I mean, if you got one, that'd be fun. Look, I've lost weight. This is a double X,
Well, I'm hoping that your actual X level,
yes,
translates to these shirts, because I showed you me wearing the XL that I used to wear, and it's comfortable on me. So I mean, and now it's probably really big because I lost 20 pounds Thursday night, in the bathroom.
That's right. Yeah.
But I'm sure I'll gain that water weight back in no time.
Oh, of course.
So I'll fill it out a little better, but
yeah, sure.
I'm just dying to see how the fit works.
Oh, I am too.
Now, remember the ones that I sent you; that's before we kind of decided on the alignment of the logo and stuff. But you get the gist. You'll get the gist.
Oh yeah.
And I'm excited for everyone else just to go take a look at our shirts and whatnot. You'll everyone listening, you'll hear more about it from us and everything. And get on our email list if you're not. I have, if you sign up for an email to get on our email list at feedband.com, you'll get an email back with a 10% off coupon. So if you want to buy some shirts there, and if you buy 3 or more at one time, it'll be automatic 15% off. So you can bulk buy, and I highly encourage buying some for your friends.
Oh yeah,
give them away to your buddies. Especially give them away. Get some of these Texas ones. And give them away to your newfound buddies from New York and California that have moved down here.
Yeah,
and start educating them.
Yeah, well,
on the ways of the force in Texas.
Yeah, as long as they bat for the right team. If not, you can give them a Feed Bandit shirt, but then also give them a pair of concrete shoes and throw them.
Or you could strangle them with the Feed Bandit shirt, and then you wear it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the shirt. I would love to wear my Feed Bandit shirt, but it's been logged in as evidence for murder.
Good stuff.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it'll be fun. More to come on all that good stuff.
Yes. And I'll talk to you offline about our kit that we want to.
How
to handle that. So stay tuned, folks. 2025 is going to be the year of the Bandit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're excited.
Big time.
All right. Well, you got anything else for the folks in this one?
I'm done.
All right. Awesome. You said you're going to try to do a couple of solos this week, so they can be excited to wait for that.
Yes.
At the edge of their seats.
Yes.
And then we talked about turkey hunting. I'm gonna, I've been doing, just to remind folks that going over the turkey hunting series, going through the outdoor turkey strategies book that I've been reading. I've been learning a lot. reading that thing. So I'm sure everyone else has too. There's
Why
stuff that
why do you need to? You just go to the same damn place every time, and it seems to work.
There's some interesting strategies that I'd never heard of that they went over in that thing. It's just some things about the turkey that, but you're right. I mean, if it works, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Yeah. I love it.
All right. Well, thank you folks for listening. Really appreciate it. Again, go to feedbandit.com. Check out, go to the gear apparel page. Check out the shirts. We'd love for you to have one, and love for your neighbor to have one as well. And then, we'll see you. We'll catch you on the next podcast. And what do we always say, Noah Ford and Bandit? To close things out.
Hey, support your local feed store and go Texas.
That's right. Adios.
Well, I hope the Bandits gave you an interesting episode that either entertained or educated you. Or better yet, both. Hell, I told them this podcasting thing looks harder to do than defeating Santa Anna. So if you would, please help them out by sharing it with all your like-minded friends to help the Bandits get the word out. And don't forget to check us out at feedbandit.com and grab some gear and apparel to support the cause of Texas. Remember, Texas, above all else, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Finally, as I said some time ago on the eve of the great battle, and I vigorously repeat here again, be men, be free men, that your children may bless their father's name. Well, fellow bandit, until next time.